Howdy ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, this is Alexo, and today I'm going to quickly explain how you can format your book for Kindle Direct Publishing. So once you publish your ebook over there, it looks just amazing and your customers just want to get your book, okay? So let's get stuff done. Let's get it started, okay? So let's imagine that I just received a document from a ghostwriter company. By the way, the one I use is the Urban Writers. I suggest for you to check them out. Got a link right below so you can check them out. Anyway, you got the document from your ghostwriter company. You can just use that document and just, put it over there on Kindle Direct Publishing because it probably won't look that amazing. So you want to first format it. So how can you do it? Okay, I'm using over here WPS Office. This is a free software that you can use. It's a text editor. And if you are using Microsoft Word, you can still follow along because the options are pretty similar. You just need to look around probably a few more seconds to find the options, but it's pretty similar, okay? You can also use this one called WPS Office. Okay, when it comes to the page size, I typically just leave the standard document. That means that I open the document I received from my ghostwriter company on WPS Office, and I just keep the standard sizes. I don't change anything for my ebook. So once you go over here, the first thing that you probably want to do is simply format your front page, which is this one over here. You may want to change around the title, the subtitle, make it just lengthier or increase the font size. You may want to you just select it and you can increase the font size whatever way that you want and decrease the subtitle whatever way that you want, okay? The other thing that you want to do is you want to choose the font family that you want to use for your content throughout your book, okay? So once I select, as you can see, I'm selecting over here the normal text. So this is the normal text that you can find throughout my content over here. If you want to change, you just select it and you can see that it changes over here on the window. You go over here to modify style and you can see that at the moment I have Georgia font, and you can change it to Arial if you want. Let's say that you want to use Arial, which is this one. You can change it and you can even increase the font size over here, and this will immediately change the font on your whole document. As you can see, it changed everything. I like to keep Georgia. I'm not going to do this. I'm just showing you what you can do. So the first step is to clean the front page. Then you want to change the font family for your standard text. You also want to do the same thing for your heading 1. You can go over here, you can select heading 1, okay? And the other thing that you might want to do for your heading 1 is simply change the paragraphs, the spacing that you have before and after. You can change this around so you can have more spacing appearing below your heading 1 and also on top of your heading 1, okay? This is something that you might want to change, and also change the line spacing from double to 1.5 or single. I'm going to keep it, let's say 1.5, and I'm just going to press OK. Once again, I'm going to keep Georgia. I like to use Arial, Georgia, Times New Roman, sometimes Verdana, and basically those are the font families I use for all of my books, okay? It just changed over here. This is a heading 1, as you can see. You also want to do the same thing for heading 2, okay? Same thing. You want to probably change the spacing. You go to paragraphs over here, and perhaps heading 3 if you are going to use heading 3 throughout your content. So once you have everything nicely formatted, what you want to do is remove unnecessary paragraph markers. These are markers that you can see. If you can't see these markers appearing on your page, what you want to do is go over here to Home section. You click on this arrow and show and hide paragraph marks, okay? Once I click on it, it appears. Let's start with the front page, okay? You can see this has too many enters. You just want to clean it. I'm just going to leave this this enters over here. Sometimes what people also do is some writers typically like to do this like this. Okay, they don't know how to add a paragraph break, so they have enters until your content passes to the next page. And you just want to remove that, because what happens is if you have all of those enters, sometimes when you pass your file to Kindle Direct Publishing and you check the preview, it may look awkward. It may cause some problems. So to avoid that, what you want to do is remove all of those enters, and you want to insert a page break. So you go over here to supposedly to your author name or pen name, and if you don't have one, you also want to include one over here. By Laura Chapman, you want to include by someone else, okay, depending on your pen name. So you go over here and you go to home, the insert section, page section, break section, and you want to include a page break, just like this. Okay, so immediately passes to the next page, and clean this like this. So basically this is what you want to do. You want to go scroll down. Okay, this is the page I leave for my table of content, which later on I'm going to show to you how you can add one. And you just go on and you want to clean any unnecessary characters like this one. This means that these dots are spacing that were included in the end of my content, and you want to remove all of the unnecessary characters throughout your document until everything looks nice and clean. So let's go through. Okay, one space over here, and as you can see, this is a chapter 1. Once again, we got the same situation which I showed to you before. You want to just remove all of those enters, and you want to make this a heading 1, okay, because this is chapter 1, heading 1, and you want to insert a page break. So you go to insert, breaks, page break, just like this, and remove this enter. It's not necessary. So, okay, so you want to do this throughout all of the content. Okay, all of the content. You want to remove any unnecessary enters throughout your content until it looks just splendid. The other thing that you want to do is format your headings. You already saw what I did over there, but you want to make sure that all of your chapter 1s or chapters throughout your book is heading 1s, because you need to do that. So once you make a table of content, it will work correctly. You also want to do the same thing for, you can see that this is probably should be a heading 2 over here. So I just did this heading 2. It has a bit too much spacing appearing, so I'm going to modify style, paragraph, and we have over here, let's include a single line. Sometimes you need to test things around and see how it looks like. Okay, just remove a bit, but I'm going to exclude a bit more over here, especially after I want to reduce this a bit. Okay, just like, okay, this looks better. So basically this is what you want to do. You want to remove any necessary characters. You want to include the heading 2s where it makes sense. If you don't have one, remove any spacing. Okay, and once that is done, you want to probably add some nice looking images, and it's pretty simple. Let's go over here to the introduction. Let's say I want to add an image over here. I recommend for you to always have some images on your nonfiction books, because I talk mainly about nonfiction books. Okay, if you have fiction books, you probably also want to have some. But for nonfiction books, typically it's a technical content, and adding some images just makes your book just more interesting to your readers. So I'm going to add an image over here. Let's go to insert. Let's go to pictures from file, and let's see if I can find a good image over here. Let's go over here to recent. And let's see over here. Okay, this one. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to home, and I'm going to center this image. Okay. What I recommend also for you to do with your images is use a program like Photoshop. I know that one is not free, but you can use, for example, the other one is GIMP, which is free and you can find online. And what I recommend for you to do is simply go to GIMP and just format all of your images so they can have identical sizes, so you don't have like one image that is way too big, then one is small, and so on, and it just doesn't look that professional. Okay, so this is what you want to do. So make sure to have page breaks where you need to add page breaks. Once that is done, what you want to do is add a table of contents. So you want to include a page for that. If you don't have a page for that, what you want to do, let's imagine that I don't have this page for some reason. Okay, what you want to do is go over here. I usually like to add a table of content after my copyright page. So I go to the end of my copyright page where you see page break, and I insert another page break so it can make another page over here. Okay, just like this, and I'm going to remove this enter. Get to this empty page. I'm going to add an enter over here, and I'm going to call table of content, just like this. And I'm going to make this a heading 1. Okay, and I'm going to add another space because I'm going to add my table of content right here. So for me to do that, I simply go to references, and I'm going to table of contents, okay, and I'm going to insert table of contents. And you can see over here a preview. Okay, in this case it has 3 levels. That means that your table of content will show your heading 1, which usually is your chapters for your book. Heading 2, which is basically, you know, the sub chapters or subtitles of your book, or in a particular chapter, I mean. Then you have heading 3s. Usually I just like to keep heading 1. I don't like to give away, because sometimes when you go to Amazon, you can always check a preview of someone's book, and I don't like to include way too much information on my table of content, or otherwise people just go online and search for that particular heading that I inserted on my table of content, and probably they get that information for free. Now, this kind of depends on the type of book that you have. Sometimes you may want to include the heading 2. In other cases, you probably just want to include the heading 1, and it's pretty much enough, okay? So in this case, we don't need to show the pages because this is an ebook, but you want to use hyperlinks, and this is the reason why you want to make sure that all of your headings are well formatted, or otherwise people click on one of your headings over here on the table of content and it won't work properly. So I'm going to press over here OK, and you can see that I have a nice table of content over here. And what you want to do is just remove any unnecessary line over here, like this first one. This is not necessary. Table of content. I'm just going to remove this one. Okay, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. Now what you want to do, just to test things around, is you want to press Control from your keyboard, and you can see once I press Control and over my table of content, you can see that I have a small hand appearing with the indicator pointing to my particular line over here. Okay, so let's see if chapter 1 is working well once I click on it. I'm going to click with the mouse, and we go immediately to chapter 1. Okay, and let's check over here on chapter 2 or chapter 3. Let's go to chapter 8 and see if it works. Okay, it's working well. You want to test and see if your table of content is working well. It's important for you to have your table of content with these links, because when your readers get your book on Amazon and they are using their mobile, or they are using another device to read your book, they can go to the table of content, click on this link, and immediately go to the chapter that they want. So this is important for you to include. And basically, this is how you can format your book to Kindle Direct Publishing. This is everything that you need to know. If you have any questions, you can leave it on the comment section right below. If you are struggling with your self-publishing business and you would like to reach to your first $1,000 per month and keep scaling your business month after month, then check out my newest video course called Self-Publishing Money Machine. I'm going to leave a link right below. I suggest for you to just click on that link and check out my newest course. It's fabulous. You are going to like it, okay? That is all for now. This is Jared and Alexo, and stay tuned with Jared and Alexo, and bye.